hello, and welcome back to another Mayday Mayhem mystery. And today, I am pleased to say we actually have an update. We have an update on Charisma Ehresman, which, if you do not remember, she was the young lady that was found strangled in her vehicle from Forest View, Illinois, which was only 20 minutes from the Austin area where she was found strangled and suffocated in her own car in the back seat. Here's a picture of Charisma and how she looked at her untimely death. Now, as I said, there's an update on this case that just came in maybe about 6 or 7 hours ago here in Illinois. Someone has been charged with her murder. And just like we spoke before, when I spoke about her case, and I said, there's this is not because they try. I've heard quite a few people try to classify it as the Chicago Strangler, and I was even asked, "Do you think it's the Chicago Strangler?" And I even said, in my opinion, no, I do not believe that Charisma's life was taken by the Chicago Strangler. She doesn't fit the pattern. And I only say that because of the vicinity of where she was found and during the time she was found. And like I explained before in my last video, Charisma went missing during, it was a snowstorm out here where she went missing from in Chicago around January 23rd. When she went missing. Now, that was like a Sunday. She went missing. And she was found that Friday on the Austin area around the 5900 block of West Iowa, right near the border of Chicago, near Oak Park. And remember, I kept telling y'all back then, Oak Park was important, because her phone pinged that she went missing Sunday. She left Sunday. Excuse me. She left Sunday. She didn't go to school. She didn't go to work. Of course, family looking for her. And of course, we live in technology of modern times, where you can ping and find people during these different things. Her phone pinged. Remember, we spoke about this. Her phone pinged Tuesday. Now, they found her in her car Friday. Now, it hit the news. I believe Thursday it hit the news about Charisma going missing. Because like I said, when I first heard about it, I heard about it from my Ring doorbell. It was like missing person if you've seen her. And like I said, these Ring doorbells, we live in a time with technology that we can solve and can find out what happened to, because we do live in a time of technology where everybody got something recording on something, whether it's a doorbell, whether it's a dash cam, whether it's something is always recording on something. Like my mama always told me, somebody is always watching. You may not see them. They may not necessarily be paying attention to you, but somebody is always watching. And that's pretty much what happened in this situation with Charisma. We have the person that's alleged. Remember, I told y'all, Oak Park. The phone pinged in Oak Park. She was found in a 5900 block of Iowa, which is in the Austin neighborhood. Like, if you're not from Chicago, you have to understand, when you start going towards the suburbs, and you start leaving Chicago, you start hitting these little mini towns like Cicero, North Riverside, Oak Park, Berwyn, Stickley, Lyons. You start hitting these little Forest View, Forest Park, Maywood, Bellwood. You start hitting these little bitty little towns before you start really going to the burbs, like towards like Bolingbrook, and when you really start hitting the suburbs that's far away from the city. And these little towns are so close that they are literally blocks. Like, you can cross the street from one side of the street and cross over and be in Oak Park. You can be on one side of the street and then cross the street in Chicago, literally like that, and then cross the street again and be in Cicero. And then if you go a few blocks down, you can cross the street again and be in Berwyn. And then if you keep going a few more blocks down, you can cross a couple of more streets and be in Stickney. And it keeps going on. A few more blocks, you're in Forest View. So it's not as vast as you may think it is. Hearing it, it's not as a bigger block as it is. Because Forest View, it's late as I'm recording this. Everyone's asleep but me. Forest View is only 20 minutes from where her body was found, that in the Austin neighborhood. Like, it on a nice warm day, cool breeze, and your legs is good, you can walk that. Like, it's not far. It's not that far. So this is the man, Richard Chavez. My apologies. He is a 24-year-old Oak Park man that has been charged with first-degree murder in the death of Charisma Ehresman. Now, how did we get here? Now, he allegedly met Charisma online. I said this before. This was not a random person. This was not this was someone she knew, gave a ride to, went to hang out with, whatever. Now, his interpretation was that, his story is that they allegedly went out. She met him, went to his house. They allegedly hooked up. And when he woke up, she was gone. Now, that makes no sense, because I've heard two, not one, but two conflicting stories. I've heard one story, whereas he woke up and it was around that same area where the phone pinged from. And where that phone pinged from it wasn't even 2 miles where her car and body was found. And why does that make sense? Because, like I told you, we had a snowstorm out here when she came up missing. It's going to make sense. He literally says that allegedly they hooked up, he woke up, and she was gone. I'm alleging that means that she was deceased, because she didn't get up and walk out of there. And then it's also a story, allegedly, that he strangled her in her car in that spot where it was parked. But see, that's where we go back to that modern what? What I be talking about? Technology, boys. Now, that's why we go back to technology. Now, remember I told you he was found in the 5900 block of West Iowa on the streets on January 28th. She was found in her car. He was arrested on Friday, again, because that phone pinged. Now, this is not his first time with a problem with the law. Now, he has been in trouble with the law before. He has. I'm trying to find the one where he said his little story is, so you can read it for yourself on the screen. Because remember, Andrew Holmes came out and everything. But here's where it goes, where he says that allegedly, like I'm going to say allegedly. Remember we talked about that phone. Prosecutor said cell phone records show the last call Ehresman made was to a number registered to Chavez, and her phone's location records show it pinged at his address on January 23rd, the same day she went missing. Same day she was missing. Detectives spoke to Chavez at his home on the day she was reported missing, and he was taken into custody on an outstanding arrest warrant in a pending DUI case of North Riverside, according to court records. Chavez told the detectives that the two hooked up, and when he woke up the next morning, Ehresman was gone. Now, that's what he says, which that's absolutely, I don't believe none of that. I don't believe any of that. And why? Because while he was in custody, see, motherfuckers do stuff that shows they guilt. I'm just saying, people do shit that show they guilt. Now, if that's all that happened, well, then why didn't you call 911? Oh, well, I had a warrant for my arrest. Okay, a warrant for your arrest for a DUI. Okay, you could have sat in the little bullpen, did your little community service or whatever for that little time for that DUI. Versus now, you have first-degree murder on your hands. And of course, they're holding him without bond, as they should. You know why? Because when he talked to his parents, you know, you get that little call that you can make to your folks and whoever you need to talk to. He's going to tell his parents, allegedly. Y'all do know that when people go to jail, they do tape these phone calls, right? You know they is taped them, right? They do tape them. It is taped. They can hear everything you're saying. So, but allegedly, he told his parents to get his passport together. And when they came and got him, he allegedly, and I say allegedly because I wasn't there, I have to only go by what it said, he had a bag, a go-to bag, ready to go. He was ready to run. So you was a runner, you a track star. So if you a runner, how can you want me to believe that, oh, and she was gone? No, she wasn't just gone. If that was the case, why didn't you call 911? Why would you put her in the backseat of her own car? And then again, video surveillance, because at around 10:46, At around 10:46 p.m. on the 23rd, Charisma drove to his house. Like I said, we have these cell phones where this technology where you can see people and where they're going and what's going on. You literally see her on someone else's surveillance home private little doorbell in Oak Park. Again, Oak Park, which is literally 2 blocks away from where her car was found at. A couple of blocks away, not even 2 miles away. Ehresman drove to Chavez Oak Park home where let me pull it up. Because they said he drove to her home. Here we go. On January 23rd, prosecutors said Ehresman drove to Chavez Oak Park home, where a private surveillance camera recorded Chavez walking on the sidewalk about 10:40 p.m. and going inside with Ehresman. She was not seen leaving the home. The next morning, Chavez drove Ehresman's car to the 5900 block of West Iowa Street and got out alone. He then allegedly walked around for about an hour before calling his brother to pick him up less than a mile away. Now, it is what I'm telling you. I told y'all from the get-go, this was not no Chicago strangler. This was somebody that she had to have known. Now, whoever this was to her, however she met him, now they saying allegedly that she met him online. Now they said allegedly she met him online. Now we have surveillance of her going in, but we don't have surveillance of her coming out. We see you driving her car. We see Richard Chavez driving her car, not her. And then she's in the back seat of the car. Like I said, don't forget, if we go back to the first reports, when it first broke, her phone pinged that Tuesday at 1:01 a.m. They said her car had been parked there since that Monday. Like I said, when we woke up at Monday morning, we was in the middle of a snowstorm. It was. We had to dig our cars out. So cars was covered with snow. Even neighbors in that area said, allegedly, that car been parked here since Monday. That car been parked here all day since Monday. Now we actually have surveillance from home cameras, like these Ring doorbells or these little Google, Apple doorbells or these different home securities that can literally trace and see him walking with her, see him getting in his car. Now, how did he get her and put her in the back seat? Because they said a coat was over, allegedly a coat. Her jacket was over her face. So how did he get her in the back? It may be more footage. I'm pretty sure it is. Because they saw him even drive her to that 5900 block of West Iowa Street, which is not even 2 miles away. And then I even said he had to even call somebody to pick him up or something like that. What did he do? He called his brother about an hour later to pick him up. Why? Probably because it was so tough walking in that snow. Because it was tough out there. It was tough. And then it snowed again and it got cold. It was tough out there that whole week. That whole week it was tough with the snow out here. Just like we were just in another blizzard that happened out here, what, Thursday? We were in the middle of a blizzard that happened Thursday, just poof, blizzard time. But as you can see, DUI versus a first-degree murder, if something happened to her in the home, why didn't you just call 911? So, no, I don't believe that. And then the coroners and her autopsy has already come back. She didn't have any drugs or anything in her system like that. She died of strangulation and suffocation. That was her cause of death. And then if you strangle and pass away from suffocation, you can't put your own self in the back of the car. I'm just saying, you can't. That would be impossible. Can't nobody do that. And then he allegedly drove her to this area and then tried to walk back and then had to have somebody come and pick him up because, like I said, it was rough out there. And he had her phone. He turned her phone in. He turned her phone on. Allegedly, I'm saying allegedly, I'm just breaking it down. But he turned her phone on at that 1 o'clock in the morning mark on that Tuesday morning. And don't forget, that car been parked there since Monday. He turned that phone on and they was able to pick up that ping on Oak Park. Who did he live at? Well, who lived there? He lived there. He lived there. When they picked his ass up, he had a to-go bag. And when he made a phone call to his mama, well, I have to say allegedly had a to-go bag. And when he made a phone call to his mama and daddy, allegedly telling them, get my passport together. So that means if he would have gotten bail and they would have paid his bail, that means he would have ran. He would have been a flight risk. He would have left. And then her murderer would not have came to justice. So they held him with no bond. So right now he's being held with no bond. And there's even conflicting allegations that he was even picked up in Chicago. He was picked up in Chicago, allegedly off of California Street in Chicago. That's another conflicting story that has been circulating out there. But it's all going to come to the light once the trial does happen, whenever it happens. But it will come up once the trial does happen. But he has been charged with first-degree murder, and he is 24 years old. Richard Chavez, for the murder of Charisma Ehresman, and it's a tragedy because it's a life that didn't have to be lost. Now, what was the reason for you killing her? For what? What malice intent did you have to take her life? Was it for maybe you was trying to come up on her and she wasn't trying to have it, but then you said, well, me and her hooked up, and when I woke up, she was gone. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Like I said, did you try to push up on her and she was like, no? Things got out of hand and you strangled her and suffocated her allegedly. Like, what happened to lead to her death? And then oh, well, I woke up and she was gone. Well, she didn't strangle herself and suffocate herself and then put herself in the back seat. Now, how did all of that happen? So we're finding out piece by piece, bit by bit. But I had said from the get-go, whoever did that, is going to be around that Oak Park area, within that 5-mile radius, maybe even lower than that, because we had a bad snowstorm. We had a really, really bad snowstorm that started that Sunday night. And when we woke up Monday morning, it was snow everywhere. And then we got hit again, like what, Wednesday, with more snow, and it was cold. Because I was out here pissed off about the snow. That's how I remember that week so vividly. And when she came up missing, again, it came up on my Ring doorbell, missing person, which they often post about missing people, missing pets. Again, modern technology that we have. So, he has been caught. It is what he's been caught. Allegedly, this is the person who is responsible for her death. And it's sad, but at least they have him in custody. They are holding him without bond. Now we just have to see yeah, we just have to see any jail time, how much jail time, because he was trying to run. He was trying to run. Anytime you asking your mom or parents allegedly for a passport, he was trying to run. So again, it's an update on Charisma Ehresman case. Her alleged killer has been caught and he is being held currently without bond. But he was first arrested for a warrant for a DUI out of Riverside, Illinois, which is right next door again to Oak Park. It's like 8 blocks from Oak Park. So we'll see what happens with this case. See how much they let the public know about this case. So I keep everyone tuned in as much of the case that they'll let the public know about. So with that being said, if no one told you they love you, I do. I truly, truly do. And make sure you do better today than you did yesterday, and strive for a better tomorrow today. And we need more cases to be closed like this. Like I said, even in some of the Chicago Strangler cases, some of those cases can be solved because some of those people, like one of the young ladies that was murdered was, like I said, 7-8 months pregnant. A lot of times when you have women that are killed that are expecting, it's usually a domestic partner that has something to do with it. And even the family allegedly suspects that it's a domestic partner. But without these enough evidence, what can they do? So hopefully we'll see some justice for Charisma. And again, no parent should have to endure this. And there's so many more cases out here, so many more parents grieving. And let's try to get justice for some of those parents also, and for some of those grieving families. And again, if no one told you they love you, I do. I truly, truly do. Thank you. Please like, subscribe for more content. And I'll be with you next time for another Mayday Mayhem Mystery.